Hey guys, Loser here, back with some more Switcher Chronicles of the Drama, which pairs to the one that is before this one. This is the new drama that has happened, which involves the same issue as that one over vehicles. Nonsense. It's just nonsense, alright? So, you remember the last one I told you I've driven all of them. Every vehicle that my company has owned, and they've all been shitty. They all they all have their shitty things about them, whether they're freaking filthy or something's broken. Or other people just breaking things because they just break things. I'm just like, you really need to watch these folks and who you have out here and hold these people accountable because they be breaking shit on purpose, and it pisses me off because it affects all of us. So it's just like the less vehicles we have, it's like someone has to go home and not work that day when y'all fuck them up. Hence why I get pissed, because now you're messing with my money. But anyways, so they're still doing this 2 to 10 crap. B from the previous video, the younger one, he's still doing the run. Then they have, I'm gonna call him D, because C is the one I work with. See, this is how it's gonna get confusing, right? This is how it's gonna get confusing. So they have that guy doing it. The other CDL do it. And the whole work schedule thing has been it's been crappy because 2 of us get kicked out, and it's just like there's not enough yellow vehicles because the non-CDLs are outside too. So it's just like someone ends up going home because there's not enough vehicles. And I'm just like, this is not fair. Like, you really need to get some more vehicles, because how the other buildings have enough and we don't. Like, they have extra and we don't. We have less than the bare minimum. Doesn't make any sense. So this crap is still continuing, and it's pissing us all off because it's so annoying. And so D is useless because he doesn't do it. Like, he got to the point where it's just like he shows up late on purpose so he doesn't have to go over there, and he just hangs around on our lot. So you kick us out of a vehicle to do no work, get the fuck out. So that was annoying. But we don't get out for him anymore. But it turns out our yard manager pulled him off of the 2 to 10 run anyways. I'm like, good, because we weren't going to get out regardless, because he shows up late to kick us out, and we're down a vehicle. Like, having one CDL driver just makes no sense, because it's like they have these random things that happen sometimes. Like, one time they were like, hey, the other building needs about like 10 trailers. Can you go get them? Taking 10 trailers over there is a lot for one person. It takes a bit longer, right? But then you only have one switcher, so what if you had to take 10 trailers over to one building, but then there's 4 loaded trailers that we need from the other one? It's a lot. It's a lot. It helps out when you have more than one. We only got 1 because you kicked 2 out. Or none, because 1 vehicle's in the shop, but we still got to get out. So then there's no one that can leave the yard after a certain period of time, because there's no vehicle to do so. Dumb. So B, the younger one, he's pretty quiet. We don't really talk, but he shows up on time. He just patiently waits, for a vehicle. And he just patiently waits, and person gets out, he gets in, he's like, thanks, and you're like, no problem, whatever. He's pretty quiet, But I heard him talk, so he's for the streets, is what it sounds like. The way he talks, like the way he speaks, it's just like you thugging. You trying to thug. You be on the streets a lot, talking to your friends. That's what you sound like. That's what that voice sounds like when he talks. Yeah, and his mannerisms when he gets excited. But anyway, so this happened last week. It's a bunch of crap. Like, my brain I'm up here with how pissed off I'm at, and it's so uncomfortable. It makes me very tired. So it starts off with like they tell us, hey, can you move some of the vehicles, because we need to park some construction equipment. I'm just like, the fuck I'm moving my vehicles. Are you kidding me? And I say they're mine, like they're mine. I'm not even in charge of them, which I should be at this point. Because me and C, we actually pay attention to what's wrong with them. We actually look, write it down, and we take them to the shop and we pick them up from the shop. We know what goes on with them more than the yard manager does or anybody else that drives these vehicles, because they really don't care. You know? And around this time, also, they gave us 3 L&Ns. I'm like, awesome, we got 3 L&Ns, bro. Like, we got 3. They're kind of crappy, though. Like, they really are on the crappy side, I'm not gonna lie. Because my vehicle, I drive 06 now. 06, and C drives 05. Both of ours were in the shop for whatever reason. I think mine needed a PM and his was something else. I think it was like the windshield wiper motor went down or something like that. And both of ours were in the shop for like almost a week. So me and him were in these L&Ns that we had previously that year. And I was like, hey, let us keep these 2, man. Like, this would be my backup. Like, the one I was in, 17... That non-power steering, I was like, I'll take it because no one's going to kick me out of it because no one likes that one. No power steering. No one likes that one. So let's keep that one. That's going to be my backup, you know? But they ended up taking 17 and then the other one ended in 20. They took both of those back and put them back on their yard and gave us these 3 shitty ones. They were shitty. I looked at them. I'd be nosy as hell what goes on the yard outside. I'd be nosy. Kind of have to be. You work on it, you know what I'm saying? And I went in there and I was moving them too, because it's like now we have like 10 vehicles of white and yellow and they take up each spot. So, and me and C park like in the front where they usually are, so I move them over so we can still park in the front. So as I get in there, one of them smells like when water gets in a room and it doesn't dry properly and it's been closed off with no air circulation for a while. That's what it smelled like. And there were ants in that one. I'm just like, dang, why y'all give us this one? I'm not getting in this one. I was like, no, man. So I moved that one. The second one, the ignition, the starter, the key, it's all wonky, so you have to fight with it just to get it to start. That's like the only thing I noticed that was wrong with it. I didn't like that just because of that. And then the next one, the only thing that was wrong with that one is it had fabric seats. No, not the fabric seats in a vehicle that's been used for years and no one likes to take care of nothing. That's nasty. That's the only thing that was wrong with that one. It's gross. And he's just talking about just bring some Lysol. Like, you gotta deep clean these seats. You can't just use Lysol. That's not gonna help. That takes care of the top layer. You gotta get in the layers. Lots of layers. You gotta get in there. But whatever, I would tolerate that one. I'll tolerate that one. I'll tolerate the one with the shitty key thing. But that other one, I'll get sick in there, breathing in there. I'm not trying to get another upper respiratory infection or whatever. That shit sucks. Okay. And, so whatever, we got those 3 now. Which means we don't gotta get out anymore, because we had to get out because those were the only vehicles available. And I don't know why he was like, no, I only want these to be designated to go over the road. Nah, they're all good to go over the road. I don't want to hear that crap because the other buildings wouldn't use them ever. So I don't want to hear that crap. So we're not getting out anymore because there's 3 more available. Like, we're not doing it anymore. It's freaking stupid and inconvenient. Like, it drives me insane because I get in this vehicle that I get in every day. I do a pre-trip, make sure everything is good. I report the damage. I clean it, and then I do my work in it, and then I have to get out. Like, it bothers me. I don't know if it's an ADHD thing. I don't know if it's an only child thing, but it just brings me up here. And I hate it. It just, I hate it. Whatever. I just do it because I have to. And I'm just like, oh, snap, we don't have to anymore. Yay! And I don't want to hear no bitch blubbering, because if anyone knows about being in a shitty switcher, it's me. It's me. At least on this shift right here. It's definitely me. I know. I don't want to hear nothing from nobody about how you don't want to be in these vehicles. Don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it. So, anyways, now that we don't get out anymore, right? And I moved the trailers over for the whole construction equipment because I was like, no, we're not moving vehicles. We take up space now. We got 10, and you want me to move 5? No, not doing that. So I just moved trailers. So now they're doing road construction like right outside the gate that leads to the parking lot where you park and the gate to bring in trailers and to leave. So that's a mess as it is. So that's driving me up there, trying to get out. And then they switched up the people in the guard shack. So now it's like we have actual people who are security guards in there, which is useless because now our vehicles are not getting our trailers are not getting a ride, so we can never find them. Like it's messing up how everything functions this way, and it's pissing me off. I know it's pissing everybody else off. And they have this older lady there, this poor old lady. I'm like, you need to be home. You need an office job sitting behind a desk because you're over here taking like 5 minutes to write down a 6-digit, 8-digit number in one slot, and then you have to write down another number, and your line's getting backed up with these other people trying to get in, and truck drivers are rude. A lot of them are rude. You're not gonna find people like me who are just like, man, this is annoying. Hey, how are you? Yeah, this is my number, this is it, da-da-da. Okay, have a good day. No, you're gonna be like, hurry up, woman. You're gonna get that. You're gonna get those ones, and that's what she was getting. And she was getting overwhelmed because I just knock stuff over. It's fine. Because the construction is slowing things down. So instead of her getting like 1 truck and then another one, she's getting like 4 because it backs up, and she's getting overwhelmed. I'm like, wait till peak season starts. You're really gonna be upset. Just wait, and they're gonna be upset, and you're not gonna win. But anyways, so that's annoying, and so it's 2:00, right? And B comes in, the younger one. He's still doing it. The other guy isn't doing it. He's been pulled off. But he's still doing it, and he comes in, and he's been gone this whole time. He's been gone for 3 weeks because he had COVID, apparently. Thought he was on vacation or something. He had COVID. He's been gone for 3 weeks. So those 3 weeks, 2 of our vehicles were in the shop, but me and C were in L&N's. Then we got those were taken away. We were in L&N's for a week. Then they took those L&N's away and gave us 3 other ones, and they've been on the yard for like 2 weeks, right? And he comes in, and I guess he expects things to still be the same. No, sir, it's not. No. Because we're tired of your crap. No, we're not. We're tired of this. No, sorry. So, I'm gonna call him E. E never gets out of his vehicle anyway. He hides in the back. He's been useless for several months since peak season ended the first time. Lately, he stepped it up for the past couple months. I'm like, where was this at? Like, you literally showed you were useless, and now you want to step it up and do some work. Like, you pissed me off, bro. But he always avoided getting out of his vehicle. He'd just stay in the back. He knows what time it is. You need to get out. He's always avoids it. But he wasn't here. So, what did I say? E? So we're going to say D. Not D. We're going to say F. F, he was in E's vehicle. Now, he's the other CDL driver, which used to drive 06, which is the one I'm in. Okay? But the reason why I get to drive 6 now is because E went part-time because our hours were cut so bad that he was like, I might as well just be part-time because we're working pretty much part-time hours at this point. And he went part-time. So he's only here Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And I work Monday through Friday. So he got to the point where he was like, you know what, do you want to just be in 06 all week? Because like he'd be in 06 Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm in it. And he's like, you just want to be in it all the time? I was like, sure, that's fine. So that's the only reason why I'm even in 6. The only reason why I'm in a CDL vehicle is because he went part-time, and then he's letting me be there all the time. That's the only reason that I'm out of the yellow ones. But we still got to get in the yellow ones because they kick us out. 2 of us out every day. Okay? So he comes in, see the skinny new guy on the other shift. He comes in to do his shift, right? So I leave to go do the moves that are on the screen. So I did like one, I think it was like 1 or 2 or something. I don't know. Grabbed that vehicle. Grabbed that trailer. It was empty. Rolled around to the back. Put it away. Did one back there or something. And when I came back around, C and E were talking. Or no, F. Is it F? I don't know. See how I confuse myself? I should just use their first initials. It'd be easier. The C and the one that let me be in 6. I think he was F or whatever. But they were like, hey, C flagged me over. They were parked towards the end when I came back around, and instead of in the front where we normally are. And they were parked talking, and I was just like, okay, and I was gonna go around, and C was like, no, come here. I was like, okay, so I pulled in front of them, parked to turn off the switcher, and I was like, what's going on? He's just like, B just came up, and yeah, he wanted us to get out, and we didn't. We told him to get in the old ones, and he got in them. He drove off. I think he came back, and he rolled up to them, and he was like, hey, can we switch vehicles? Because the air conditioning isn't blowing hard enough. It's not strong enough. And they told him no, and he threw a fit. Like, he got mad that they didn't get out, and he just, eventually he up and left. And he's driving around the L&Ns. I'm just like, the air conditioning isn't blowing hot enough? That's not a safety issue. Like, wait a minute. That's not a safety issue. Because one, not all the switchers even have air conditioning. Like, they're not even built to have it. Like, that component for air conditioning is not in that vehicle for a lot of them. And you're gonna cry about that? Are you serious? Like when the ones that have air conditioning break, like the air conditioning doesn't work, the shop is not in a rush to fix those. They're like, okay, cool. Let me know when something else is wrong that's actually serious. They will leave it broken. And it has been like that for 2 of the other ones. 2 of the only yellow ones that have air conditioning on our yard. The air conditioning stayed broken for a while because it's not essential. It's not. I can survive without the air conditioning. Don't play with me about that heat, though. I will beg, plead, whatever I need to do. You want me to buy you lunch? I'll buy you lunch. But we need to get this heat going in the winter. We ain't playing with this one. We're not. So, and I just thought that was hilarious. Because I'm like, we sit here cooking in the heat because we're in a yellow one that doesn't have any, or even the L&Ns, because the L&Ns had no air conditioning. The ones that were there before the other 3 ones showed up. We're parking in the shade and sitting outside the vehicle because it's cooler outside the vehicle in the shade than sitting in the vehicle in the shade. And you're talking about you're hot? Like, I'm sweating to the point that I can smell myself. Like, I don't want to hear that crybaby stuff about that one. Don't want to hear that one, sir. And no, it's not going to work. And it cracks me up, and they're just like, you know what that was about, right? I was like, what? He just wanted to charge his phone. I'm like, yep, pretty much. That's pretty much what it is. I'm like, last time I checked, we're not supposed to have our phones, though. So, I don't want to hear that baby stuff. You can just show up at 3 o'clock. Like, what is driving in the shittier one for 3 hours to come back at 5 o'clock when our shift is over, or 4:30, and then hop in one of those? You know what I'm saying? Like, there's really only, technically, there's only one CDL driver, because of y'all 2 were doing the 2 to 10 run. So that only leaves 1 on the yard. So you coming in and grabbing it at 5 o'clock, that still leaves 2 other vehicles available for you to get in. So what's the problem still? It gets worse. Because It's because we have these tablet holders in the switchers, right? And they have a USB plug that so they can charge, but it doesn't really work. Like the holder doesn't charge the tablet because like the skins that are on the cases that are on the tablet that use to charge it don't really work. So I bring in a cord and I plug it in straight to the USB port. So that's how people usually charge their phones. I'm just like, I'm not getting out because I need to charge this tablet to actually do some work here. So I'm not going to get out. So don't try to use that excuse. Either it's too hot or you just want to charge your phone. I don't want to hear it because I got to charge this tablet and keep it working because I don't want to have to go find another one and disinfect it because it doesn't make any sense to do so because I grab one, I use that for the whole shift. Instead of grabbing one, that one dies, put that on the charger, then grab another one and drain that to like half the battery and the shift's over. So now we got a dead one that someone can't use, or that's only halfway charged by the time the next shift shows in, and then I have this half charged one that inconveniences other people too. So, no. So the next day, the plan was so I don't have to talk to him. I was supposed to be out of that spot before he showed up, and I got distracted talking to one of my friends. So before I rolled off, here he comes outside. I'm like, crap. Because the spot he normally parks in is someone else parked in there because they're doing the whole road construction thing. So the parking is kind of taken up a little bit more. And he comes in, and I'm just like, hold on 1 second. So I go around looking for this non-CDL, the only one that's on the yard. He's in one of them. And I was just like, where is that one? Because that's the better one. And apparently the air blows really well in that one. So I was like, getting that one. You know? So I come back and park. And then old boy comes back outside. He comes back outside. And I was like, just take his. Because he's not a... I get out of the vehicle. And I meet him like halfway in the little parking lot that we have. And I'm just like, just take that one because he's not a CDL driver. Then he blows up in my face. He's like, what are you making this whole big deal for? Just get out of the vehicle. What's wrong with just getting in the nose? You know, blah, blah, blah. I'm just like, first of all, why are you yelling at me? Because I came out down here, a little bit lower than down here, because I don't like confrontation. You know what I'm saying? I don't like it. I don't. So I came at you softer. And you came at me up here. So now I can't help you now. Get out of my face. Goodbye, get out of my face. And he's just laughing he's just not laughing. He's yelling at me, having a fit, talking about y'all making it a big deal. I'm like, literally, you're the only one that's making this a big deal because you're having a fit right now because someone told you no. Like, and he didn't want to listen to anything I had to say. I'm like, we have extra vehicles now. We don't have to get out. You can just get into that one and then come in at 5 o'clock, 4:30, and get into there. And he's just like, y'all be holding vehicles for folks. I'm like, who are we holding vehicles for? CDL drivers kick out the non-CDLs if they're in a white one. That's how it works because the non-CDLs can't legally leave the yard. So who are we holding these vehicles for? Exactly. But he's like, yeah, y'all be holding them all the time. Da, da, da. I'm like, literally, I'm like, dude, there's only one CDL driver. He's like, no, there's not. Like, listen, there's one CDL driver. He's like, there's not one CDL driver. I'm like, yes, there is. He's like, don't tell me who's on my shift. You don't know who's on my shift. There's this guy, this guy, this guy. I'm like, you're not letting me finish. So I was trying to tell you, like, since there's technically only one, because y'all dumbasses were doing the runs, but one dude's never here, which means you still have two other ones on the yard to choose from, but you didn't let me get that sentence out. Then he proceeds to tell me that the brakes are an issue for these vehicles, and everything else that's wrong with them, and I'm just like, you sure? Because that's not what the other guys told me yesterday. You said it was an air conditioning problem. He's like, see, they be lying on me. I hate when people be lying on me and stuff. And I'm just like, oh my gosh. All right. And so C shows up, and I'm just like, come here for a second. Come here. And he backs in the park space. He gets out. He's like, so what did y'all talk about yesterday? Because you said that he said it was an air conditioning issue. And he's saying there's something mechanically wrong. And then they're going at him like, which one is it, sir? Is it a mechanical issue? Or is it an air conditioning issue? Because the people that I work with have no reason to lie to me. Like, what are we doing that's so serious that we have to lie to each other about it? Nothing. And the fact that you're literally throwing a fit because someone told you no, I'm not going to believe you. You're literally throwing a fit because you thought you were going to get your way because I'm the nice one. He was like, I was talking to y'all yesterday and y'all did this and that. And like, you didn't talk to me yesterday. He's like, yes, I did. I talked to you yesterday. I'm like, no, you didn't talk to me yesterday. Like, look at me. I'm the only fucking woman on this yard. Did you talk to me yesterday? I'm like, think real hard. Did you talk to a woman yesterday? He got quiet. I'm like, yeah, you didn't talk to me. I left. I had work. I was doing work. Like, I'm hired to miss. I'm literally the only woman on this yard. The other one is out right now because she got into a car accident. So she's not here. And she's not a CDL driver, so you wouldn't be talking to her. You didn't talk to me. I'm the only one on this yard. I wear a freaking weeb hat. I wear that weeb. You can see I'm a weeb from a mile away because I wear that Inuyasha hat that says "Sit Boy" and it has little dog ears on it. You can't miss me. And I wear a pink safety vest. I'm not hard to miss. You didn't talk to me. But he swears up and down he did. And he just throws a fit. And then the other guy, the non-CDL, rolls up. He's like, hey, you just want this one? And he's just like, man. So he's just like talking to him, talking about how like no one wants to get out and all this whatever crap he's whining about. And the guy gets out and he drives away. And he's just like, my coworker said something that just got under his skin. I don't know what he said. Something about you're spoiled and you're mad because I whooped you like your mama should have. And he got so freaking pissed. And I was just like, man, you're acting like one of those spoiled children because you got pissed off because someone told you no. And my coworkers aren't the type of people to blow up on you. They're not that type. You know what I'm saying? They're not. They only do it if you do it to them first. So I know that your behavior made no sense. And I'm just like, Lord Jesus, this is the same crap all over again. And now he's going to cry safety issue. And I know for a fact there's nothing wrong. So he gets in that one and he leaves. Conveniently, though, the L&N mechanics were on our yard doing PMs on 2 of them. The other one that drove off, there's nothing wrong. So, I walk up to them. They're taking a break and they're having a conversation. I was like, hey, can I interrupt you guys for a minute? They're like, yeah, sure, man. What do you need? Those 2 vehicles that you worked on, and that other one that just left, was there anything wrong with those? You know? And they're like, no. Did you notice anything wrong? I'm like, no, I'm just asking because that guy just threw a fit about being in the vehicles and he said there's a brake issue and whatnot. And I'm just wondering if you guys noticed anything wrong with them, you know? So I'm just going to ask since you guys are here. And they're like, no, there's nothing wrong with those because they drove around in them too before they started doing their PMs and stuff. Like, no, there's nothing wrong with them. They just did minor things that wasn't really like a big safety issue. They just needed to be like, you know, it's like the routine maintenance stuff. It wasn't something that made them road illegal. All these they're road ready. They're fine. I was like, So I'm calling bullshit. He's like, yeah, I'm calling bullshit with you on that one. I was like, that's what I thought. So I wait because I'm like really irritated because I hate when people come at me wrong. And I'm just like, I come at you with respect and at a sane level, and then you go up here with it and be disrespectful, and that brings me up there. I'm just like pissed. I'm just pissed. I'm like, I didn't do that to you, so why did you do that to me? It infuriates me. It does. So the yard manager isn't there. I'm like, I'm gonna find the yard manager when he shows up because he's gonna get the same info, all of it. So first I went to the control room, did a quick spiel. I was like, that just happened outside. So yeah, and they were just like, because before he left, he's like, I'm gonna talk to people inside. Well, I'm like, okay, please do. So he leaves or whatever to go does his job, and I go inside, give them a heads up because I'm just like, this is what's going down. Here's some facts because I got 2 sides of stories, and the pissy dude, I don't believe because he's throwing a fit. But you gotta be like what 20 to 22, like you're an adult. I'm gonna need you to act like one, and you're just throwing this fit. No. So I tell the people in the control room what just happened. They're just like, and he said he's gonna come talk to the people inside. I don't know if that's y'all, if he's gonna come to talk to y'all or whatever, but I'm just giving you a heads up in case. And she's just like, please let him come inside. And he can get into available switcher just like everyone else has had to do. I'm like, exactly. I'm just giving you a heads up. I'm just giving you a heads up. And they're just like laughing, but like, okay, bring him in here then. If he comes in here, we'll set him straight. I'm like, cool. There's a guy and a woman in there, and they're just like, none of that, sir. You're grown. And so I don't want to bug the senior hub manager that's in charge of the whole building, but I will. I will, because it's just like, I don't like stuff that doesn't make sense. But I wasn't gonna bother her because I know she's busy. So I was just like, let me tell the assistant hub manager, give him a heads up of what's going on, because I know that bullshit happened last time, and you're gonna cry safety issue. And I literally just talked to mechanics. It's not a safety issue. Like, we're not doing this time with this crap. I hate having to get out. We all hate having to get out. But you can sit in one of those vehicles for 3 hours and then get into one at 5. It is not that serious. So I gave him a quick spiel of everything else that just happened. And he's just like, he says the same thing. Like, he can get into the available ones. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with them. They wouldn't be on these yards. And I asked the mechanics, and there's nothing wrong. You know. And he's just like, yeah, I'll talk to him. If he comes in, if he needs to, then he can just talk to me about it, and I'll set him straight. I'm like, that's cool, you know. So that went well. I was like, that's cool, whatever. But I'm still like, that's that cry safety issue that the older man tried to pull, and he had an attitude. I'm just like, y'all too grown for this, and just this back and forth crap that y'all are doing is unnecessary. Just get in the vehicle like we all had to, cause like, I'll be damned. This is why it really would piss me off, because I'll be damned if you have a fit and they take your side, like they did last time. That's what pisses me off, because y'all have told us that we have to get in what's available, just like everybody else in these other buildings and these other shifts have had to do. I came to you as an adult, polite, correct, everything. I was like, about the whole switcher issue, like, hey, we're getting rid of these. You know, what about me? Like, can we get another one? And you guys said no. I didn't whine. I didn't cry. I didn't throw a fit. Nothing. I was like, all right. I just figured I'd ask. And I left it alone. So I'll be damned if you get your way and you threw this fit, because if that's the case, I should have thrown a fucking fit a long time ago. We could have had another one sooner. I'm just saying. No. And so yard manager shows up, and I'm just like, I need to talk to you. So I tell him the same thing, and he's like, okay, I'll talk to him, because I'm like, I'm like, it's not a safety issue. I talk to the mechanics, and you can talk to them too. It is not. I like facts. I will get petty with the facts, and that's what I was doing. Not really. It's not really being petty, but I'm just like, don't try to pull this crap out, and you know what I'm saying? Just because you're mad someone told you no, that's not good. Like, a man getting upset at the word no is a scary thing, and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, dude, you have too much bass in your voice for someone who weighs less than I do. Too much bass in your voice. But yeah, that's what happened. That I'm just like, bro, we're not doing this. And now it looks like he's intentionally sabotaging these switchers, because I'm just like, how does 2 of the LNNs go down one after another the next day? Like, one went down one day, went to the shop, and then the next day another one was in the shop, but then that first one came back. So I'm just like, even if the first one were to break down, it's too much of a coincidence for the second one to break down. Now, the first one, it had to do a regen, which all switchers and semi-trucks have to do. They have to. Otherwise, they just stop. They just stop. That's what they do. They have to do a parked regen. There are they can do one while it's in motion, but it's you know, whatever. Like, for trucks, you have to drive like over 500 miles, and it'll do it while you drive. Switchers is like, it'll do one. It's hard to tell when it's doing one per se, but if it's not able to complete one, it will shut down, and it has to do a parked one. And I went to the shop because I'm like, this is too much of a coincidence. And they have a machine that reads the codes. Like it sends codes, error codes, and it pops up. And the error code read, 1, it didn't complete a regen, and 2, someone was messing with the switches in the switcher. The switches are at the bottom. So that's sabotage. Like it knows the fact that someone intentionally flipped the switches off so it couldn't do a regen, and that's why it shut off. Interesting. But sadly, I can't get a print off of that saying, hey, this is the code and this is what the code means that popped up on that switcher. It doesn't print out like that. I asked and it doesn't, because I was going to give it to the managers about that. And then the next day, he's talking about the 5th wheel won't open to hook up to a trailer. I'm like, that sounds like a user problem. That's you. You did that. It like sometimes they get stuck. The locking jaws will get stuck closed, but you can actually try to fix that by sliding under a trailer, slowly holding the 5th wheel button down. Sometimes it's a 50-50. That might not work. It might be a different issue, but still, it sounds like you did that on purpose. So I'm keeping an eye out if it happens again for a 3rd one. But it just looks like he's having a fit. He's throwing a temper tantrum, and he's intentionally breaking them to prove a safety issue, and I don't like that. And then on top of that, there was this creepy guy doing the construction that was like doing traffic, and he kept asking for my number. I'm just like, leave me alone. I'm just trying to work, dude. You're like 50. Please leave me alone. I'm just trying to do my job, please. So all of that, I'm just like, I'm tired of y'all. I'm ready to go home. I was so pissed the next day. I didn't do a double shift Friday, and I did not come in today. They didn't have a day shift, which is my shift. But they didn't have a day shift today. But I wasn't gonna come in during twilight either. I need a break from y'all. Y'all doing too much. My brain hurts. So far they haven't said nothing about us having to get out of the new ones to get into the old ones. So that means they're not believing his bullshit. And they told him to just wait till 5 o'clock. Come back at 5. Like literally all he has to do is do a couple runs and come back, swap vehicles, and continue what he was doing. It's not that hard. It doesn't take that long. It really doesn't. So I guess they talked to him about that because I didn't hear anything about it. Because that's why I was so pissed the next day, because I was expecting that bullshit like last time, but it didn't happen. So for the fact that it didn't happen immediately the next day means that they didn't take his bullshit side. So that's cool, but I still think he's sabotaging switchers on purpose. So I'm gonna keep an eye on that one. So yeah, that's the drama for that. It's vehicle drama. It's ridiculous. Like they need to throw him over. If they throw him over to the other building, the bigger one across the street, you'd be real upset then, because it's really first come first serve. We just do it. We just get in the same ones out of courtesy for everybody else, and the fact that we don't have such a big crew as the other building does. So, but no one's gonna get in my face about how shitty the vehicles are when I've been in all the shitty ones. I know what you're complaining about. I understand. I'm not gonna get out for you though, because we don't have to. There are other ones available that you can get in, just like we've all done. So yeah, that's what happened this past week. Whatever the date was, I can't even check the date because I'm recording on my phone. So what's today? Labor Day. So yeah, this past week, that's what was going on. So that's it for that. If there anything else happens, I'll make another one continuing this, but hopefully that's it, because this is ridiculous. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.